guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. This video will be my review of the GWS Giants and how they will go with AFL Fantasy wise their players in 2023. So remember to like and subscribe and to watch the full playlist of the AFL Fantasy other teams that I've done, as well as my team reveal. Now on to the players. So I've highlighted my players that I'll go through, and it's very top heavy for the GWS this year. So now on to the players. You have Josh Kelly, 899k, 5% owned, 101 average. Can he return back to the averages a couple seasons ago that he had? 103, 115 back in 2019, 108. So he has the potential to go huge, as in 110. But do I see it? I don't think he does. I think there's other players that will take more of the ball, and I think he won't get back to that range. I think he probably goes up a little bit to 105. So if you're willing to take that as a premium, then that's good. But I think there's other value at around the same price and lower, such as taking a risk on Petrarca and Parrish and Bontempelli, that they can go 110 or so more and go bigger than Kelly. Whitfield, 804k. He's priced unders. The only problem is that he doesn't have defender status. If he was a defender, you'd probably jump on him, but because he's only got midfield price, and you look here, 113, 100, he has the ability to be 10 or 15 points unders here. But the problem is that he's got midfield status, so we're probably going to have to wait for him to get double position status at round 6 or round 12. So he's probably just not a go for starting teams. Isaac Cummins is an interesting one at price at 90. Could he be that big defender, that top 6 defender this year? Looking back, 2021 86, 2020 47, 49. So he's really made that jump recently to be a big defender. Will he make that next jump to join the top 6 defenders? I think he could, but I think it's a little bit too much of a risk. And if you want him as a player of difference, that's good, because he's got just over 1% owned. But I just don't see him personally being that guy to go big. I think it will be more Whitfield that will go big, and we'll have to get him Whitfield in once he gets dual position. Perryman, I think he could be one of the guys that comes directly in for Taranto and Hopper, as they had high CBAs. I think he could easily, as we look here at his stats, 2022, did we see a bump up at the end? We saw him have consistency here of 70s and a 132. So we really need to see him have that. He's a very consistent scorer, because that was an injury game. So he's a good scorer if you want him to be to just score that consistent 80, 90. It's whether or not can he get up towards that, having a basement of almost 85 and just being able to build on that and getting an average of 95 out of scores of 85 to 110, 120. I think he could, but I just think there's almost an argument of there's too many good Giants players that having him would almost be like a 5th Giants player in your team. So he could be one, but I just think there's probably more value in the likes of Tom Green. Now, with him, I think he has a huge ability to go even be 15 points upside with him. He is a guy that if Meek is not named, I'll quickly do it now. Meek's not named, I probably jump Errol Goulden out, and I'll actually wait on it now. It's quite a bit of rejigging, but Tom Green's one that I want to get in. If I have to rejig my team, he's the first one off the rank basically that I'm gonna jump on. He's got looking at his fixture list, those 2 games to start where he could easily pull out 120 and 125 in these 2 games and start off hot and get towards that 820k and almost be pretty hard to get into your team. So I think he's one that you almost have to start, else you're going to miss out on a big score. Himmelberg, we just need to look out for news on both him and Cadman, as he's the filler in both defence and forward line. If Cadman plays, he'll be down back, and he's almost a guy that you can just pick until he gets put back into the forward line, as he'll net 110 average probably and get up 50, 60k quite quickly. And to have that and then being able to shift that on, getting the value in quick is just a good pick if he is down back. But there's question marks if Cadman debuts round 1. So we just got to look on Harry Himmelberg and see if he is playing down back. We moved Hogan, not good. Green could go into the midfield, but I just don't think he will. Flynn, Ruckman, I don't know what they will do with their Ruckman, whether they go, who are their Ruckman? If we go to their Rucks, they've got Bruce, Flynn and Briggs. Bruce, injury prone, suspension prone, and could miss for selections. You got Briggs and Flynn, who have both played Briggs played 4 games, Flynn 12, and Bruce played 10. So I do think they'll probably go in with 2 rucks, 2 of the 3 each game. It's just a question of will they go Bruce and Flynn, or Bruce and Briggs, or Flynn and Briggs. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, Lockie Ash is another one we should probably mention here, is that he did have to take up a tagging role last year, and if he does take up that last midfield spot and doesn't have to tag, he's probably 20 points under here. It's probably 20, maybe 25. If you look at 2021 average 77, 2020 average only 43, then didn't play. So he did have a 77 average when I don't think he was tagging this year. And he does have the ability with a 146 to really go huge. Especially if you look at his marks last year, they don't show, which probably isn't the best. Yeah, they don't show. He had, I think it's 106 here. 106 marks in 19 games is almost over 5 a game. That's huge for a guy. He does score a lot of fantasy points from marking and tackling. So he is that type of guy that if he can just get the ball in his hands, he will, and not have to tag, he will do really well. So he's one to look out for. Then down here, another guy that I've got highlighted is Weir. He's moved into the midfield, probably a wing role. So potential upside from his 2022. But I think he's more of that consistent scorer, so he's going to have to actually take a jump up and not be... He has a lot of 60s here, like 72, 67 for 3 weeks running, then a 34 and such. So he's going to have to take a step up in actual scoring output rather than actually just... He hasn't shown flashes of being able to go huge. Then we go down here, not many interesting ones. Then we get down to Callahan, who could quite easily be a guy. I initially had him in my team as that guy that picks up the midfield slack without Taranto and Hopper. I think there is a case for him to be able to get into that midfield, as see here, he doesn't have good time on ground, so whether that increases next year with another full preseason and whether he gets into their lineup, it's unknown. He's a guy that we look to in the preseason and trial games and see what his role is. If he's in the midfield at what is he at, 405k or something, 406k, he has, and that's priced at like mid 40s. He has the potential to go 75, 80 here, and that's 30-point upside. So he's almost a guy you should jump on at 406k. And maybe he's a guy that I take out instead of Warple and such, and be able to get another premium in somewhere. It's not much in terms of this 300k range for the Giants, and I'm not going to pick up on Cadman just because he's a key forward. He'll get taken out of games by other key defenders, so for him it's just not a good choice, I don't think. Ralston's another one. He could get a game. 270k's, you're going to have to wait for him to debut probably to play. Then you have Jones. None of these guys are really that interesting. And then we move on to the guys that I have on my bench. In fact, I did miss Cog, so we'll go back to him. He is a guy that I have over Taranto. He had a huge run if we look back here in 2022 match stats. He had this huge run here after a 49, 120, 108, 130, 105, 129, 118, 116, and he really didn't drop off for the rest of the season. So averaged 106 after round 15. So he averaged 106 after here. Like, even if you discount, he probably averaged, if you look at it again, he probably averaged still around 108, 109 post round 10. And there's also a stat here that if Taranto wasn't playing, he averaged 115. And if he did play, I think he was 20-point unders. So without Taranto playing, could Cornelio go that one, even just getting him 110? 110 is enough for being that F2 behind Dunkley. Or even he might take over the mantle of that F1. I just think he's going to score 110, and I think Taranto's going to be around that 100, 105. So having Cornelio is 5 points better, in my opinion. At least he could go huge and get that big one. If we look back here to 2019, 2018, 110 score. If he gets this 110 score again, we're on for a huge year. And then I have just a couple of rookies in here. Madden's just, I'm probably going to go with a red dot in my rucks to start, or a guy that looks next in for my rucks, just because for the captaincy loophole, as well as the fact that at 200k there isn't going to be much. I don't see much upside in the ruck department this year, especially rookie wise. There's a lot of raw talent across the teams that aren't AFL ready, and just gotta hope that with the inconsistency in the GWS rucks, that he maybe plays as plays a game with that fifth sub. And then you have Josh Fahey. He's odds on for a game. Another guy, low ownership as now, but could jump up if he gets named. And Angwin could play again, another 200k or so. Those are the guys that I've looked at in the GWS lineup, and I think could get a game on the bench, and they're 200k, so it helps getting another primo in, but obviously those guys will change round one. So that's my team review or preview for the 2023 season for GWS. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you want to go up to my other reviews of the two other teams so far in the Eagles and North, then go up here to the AFL Fantasy playlist. And yeah, thanks and goodbye.